Well, you have used a lot of free resources. You looked at videos. You're watching some lives. Your next coming test is next week, but yet you still feel a little frazzled. You feel like something is not really clicking, and you're like, I need for it to click. And we can pray on it, we can manifest it, but we still have to put some things into action. So by just looking at videos and doing that solely, you're just watching as entertainment, not so much as learning. But you're saying, I'm spending so much time and so much hours, Audrey, I should be able to do well on the test. And then when you take the test and you look at the score, you might either do the same or maybe you just increase by 1 point and you needed 6. So now you're like, okay, should I stop? Should I keep going? What should I do? So you can have somebody that's going to rub your back and say it's going to be okay, or you can get someone that's going to be real with you. You're going to have to take action, and it's going to take consistency. Just like with me going live, I have to be consistent in order to keep preaching that, saying that yes, you can pass the test, and yes, you can get above that minimum score. But it's going to take practice. It's going to take guidance. So without instruction and you're doing practice, you're relying on old ways to help you through a test that you say you need to pass. But you keep getting the same results. So I ask you the question, when are you going to do something different? Instead of having the tons of excuses, when are you going to step up and try something different? Right? So if you want to know, my name is Audrey Codner, and I'm the owner of ACG Math Tutoring and Math by Audrey, where I use a lot of ebooks and resources that I have personally created to help you achieve your goal, be it high school equivalency like the GED, trying to get into the military, trying to pass your ASVAB, especially for the math portion for the arithmetic knowledge and the algebraic, as well as your T-test if you're trying to get into nursing school and you haven't seen algebra in years, then this is the life for you. So I don't mind for people that want to come in that know the math and they're already in calculus and they just want to feel confident in themselves. But I'm going to be truthful. I'm going to go slow. I go things step by step so I can help build people's confidence. Because that math trauma is serious. As much as everyone says the summer slide is a serious thing, if your child hasn't been in school for like 2 weeks, they basically lost more than half of the school year of their knowledge. So what I do is I break down concepts that some of you guys actually request. So one of the requests that actually came through my timeline is word problems. And I know everyone, if it's not fractions, word problems are basically an even keel, right? So how and why word problems is such a threat to us? Because when we were given word problems when we were younger, especially if you're like me, 53 or younger or older, we were given an ease into word problems. It was a matter of like, here's a word problem, let's see if we can figure it out. But no one really actually took it step by step for us to really understand those concepts. And that's the reason why I'm here on TikTok. So I can show you not only how you can actually break down word problems and fractions, which I did yesterday, and also decimals, which was the next day before, and how to just not love it, you don't have to marry it, but enough for you to feel confident. And when you go to that test, you already have timing going against you and then knowledge. But if we can get knowledge, timing is not going to be too much of an issue. All right, so let me give you the first example. So we're only going to be doing like 4, and we're going to break things down step by step. So we're going to translate this into an algebraic expression. And it would be nice if we can do x and y's. Yes, you can use other variables other than e and I because those are actual numbers. But if we have a situation like this, a rideshare company charges a flat fee of $3.50 plus $1.75 per mile driven. How would you translate that into an equation? Okay, how would you translate that into an equation? Now, a lot of these things are fresh off the boat. This is going to be an example of my upcoming flashcards, which is talking about linear equations. Okay, so when I say fresh off the boat, all these don't even have very, very nice edges yet. Like I literally just did them. Okay, so if you think you know what the formula is, or if you think you know what the equation is, go ahead and put it in the chat. Okay, and if you don't know what it is, you can use a question mark. Okay, so it kind of tells me how deep do I need to explain things. Okay, thanks for joining in. Hey, Zach. Is that Jen? Germ? Hey, Germ. Okay, Keisha, thank you so much for your honesty. Okay, I got you. All right. Okay, so as you guys are coming in, if you think you know how to translate this, okay, how to translate it from verbal to an algebraic equation, go ahead and put that into the chat. Thank you, Keisha. Well, there are times. There are some people that don't think I do, but hey, I appreciate you saying that. All right. Okay. All right, everyone. So let's take a gander. I know there's probably a lot of people that are like, I don't want to put my answer out there because I know I'm going to be wrong. Well, here's my thing. How are you going to know you're going to be right? Gotta take risks, people. Okay, gotta take risks. All right, so hey, John, how are you? So let's take a look. So we are translating. So we got a rideshare company. Okay, can be any various ones. It doesn't matter. But what matters is they charge a flat fee. So first off, we need to know what a flat fee is. So flat fee is regardless of you driving out, going to your destination, they're going to charge you a fee for just the car to arrive at your destination. So that flat fee is going to be $3.50. Okay, there we go. So if we have our $3.50, this is also called your starting point. AKA, when we're looking at equations of a line, we're always using y equals mx plus b. Your m is your slope. Your b is your starting point, your y-intercept. So we know that our flat fee is going to be $3.50. Okay? And we're adding that $3.50 to, plus the word plus, that $1.75 per mile driven. Here's the key. How do you know which one is going to go where? So for your slope, it always deals with the change of your y's over the change of your x's. It always has a natural comparison. This triangle is the Greek letter meaning delta. Okay? All my sororities out there, you got this. So that means something is happening. This is the amount per mile. So we're actually doing our $1.75. That's happening per mile. So that means your x values is representing the miles and your y is representing the cost. Okay, there you go, 2 stars. There you go. All right, so this is what's happening. And guess what? That is your equation. It's as simple as that. And everybody's like, well, Audrey won the test. It's usually so much bigger and all this stuff. Look, you don't need all of that. You need the question. And sometimes if they do give you a huge paragraph for a word problem, they're usually giving you an equation. If they're giving you an equation, half the work is already done. You're reading word problems as if it was a novel. Okay? That's where you have to stop. You're trying to absorb every single syllable, every single word, noun, verb, adjective. You're trying to embrace and trying to create the atmosphere in your head. No one cares that John went to the beach, found the acorn, looked into the ocean, and the question is, how old is Susan? Who the hell is Susan? Where does she come from? Right? So this is the reason why you go to the question, how old is Susan? Are they giving me any clues about Susan? If I do, all right, what else are they giving me clues? So I'm comparing myself with, I don't know, David and Susan. There you go. That's how you do math. You look at math problems as if you are a detective, okay? Not like you're reading a novel. That's what makes it so weird. All right? So how about this one? Right? Keisha, yes. There you go. Tim, yes. Direct proportional, yes. Yes, 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 yes. Okay. Hey, JB, how are you? Thank you so much for sharing the live. All right. A swimming pool holds 15. Oh, that's supposed to be another zero. It's supposed to be 15,000 gallons of water and drains in a constant rate of 20 gallons per minute. Okay. Hey, Ozzy. Okay, so this is supposed to be 15,000. Let me write that in real quick. Like when I said I just finished typing these up, well, this is me typing at 2 o'clock this morning. But just putting the finishing touches on some of it. Okay. Hey, Haz, how are you? All right. Wait, I just joined. When would we use some real world scenarios? We're looking at them. I love when would we use y equals mx supposed to be in real world scenarios? You're looking at it, Ozzy. Okay. Are you reincarnated? We miss you, Ozzy. Come back. All right. Okay. So a swimming pool holds 15,000 gallons of water and drains at a constant rate of 20 gallons per minute. How can we set this up as an equation? And the equation of the line, which I always use, is y equals mx plus b. Okay? Okay, so what is it exact, Aaron? Right now, we're just not really solving, but we're setting things up. Because I think you guys can do the solving to a point. But, because I haven't finished all my scenarios yet. So I'm playing around with some of these. Okay? So Keisha, there's a couple things missing with the x and the y. Okay? Alright, you just gotta put the x and the y. So it has to be in slope-intercept form. Okay? Thank you. But you're right there now. Alright? So people that are coming in, we're translating this from verbal to slope-intercept form. Okay? And for those that don't know, my name is Audrey Codner, and I used to be a classroom teacher for 22 years. Just finished my 6th year of online tutoring, and I'm really trying to help, especially those that are 25 plus that are thinking about going back to school. And it's been a minute, and we need to kind of address that whole thing called math trauma. So I break down concepts step by step. So if this is too slow for you, this is not the platform for you. I appreciate you coming in. I appreciate you participating, but this is basically the pace that we go through. Okay? All right. Thank you so much for the follows, guys. All right. And the math portion of the Accuplacer. Yep. All of this. Everything that I do, God love, everything I do. It helps with the Accuplacer. It helps with the GED, the ASVAB, the TEAS test, because it's all algebra. Okay? It's all algebra. All right, so let's take a look. So the swimming pool holds 15,000 gallons. All right, not a problem. So the swimming pool holds 15,000 gallons of water. Okay, so that should be telling me something. That's telling me this is what we're starting out with. We're starting out with 15,000 gallons. So my starting is always going to be the B. This is what you start with. So that means, here we go with the 15,000. Okay, this is what we started with. Now, and drains at a constant rate of 20 gallons per minute. What's happening there? Tell me what happens there. Because a lot of you guys are right there, but there's a major component that you're missing. Okay? Alright, there's a major component that's missing. Okay, Hayes, I see you. Yes. Al, I see you. Okay? It's decreasing. What is decreasing? Is it going to be my y-intercept or is it going to be my slope? What is decreasing? The slope. There we go. Thank you. So we are going to, Morningstar, we are going to be subtracting, but what we're going to be subtracting is not the 15,000. Because what's going down, it's your rate of 20 gallons per minute. That means your slope is what's decreasing. Yes. So that means this M should be a negative 20x. So your equation is going to be you starting out with 15,000, but for every single minute, so that means the x value is going to represent my minute, and the y value is going to represent how much water is in that swimming pool. Okay? So whenever time you set up an equation and they'll ask you, okay, what's x representing? What's y representing? Well, the x is representing your minutes, and your y is representing the amount of water. So the H2O in the pool. My friend Professor TK will be so proud. Okay, so there's going to be times, exactly, I see you, okay, after we lost some, yes. Why not use T instead? You can use anything, except for E and I. I'm using X and Y, so it really doesn't matter, okay? I think that's electric. All right, okay, so whatever we're using, for right now, I'm just using X and Y's to represent my unknowns. Why can't you use I? Because I is actually a number. If you put in your calculator square root of I will actually, let me put it here, up here. So I is equivalent to the square root of -1. That's actually a number. It may be a complex number, but it's still a number. Okay? And E is also a number as well. Okay, you'll probably see a lot of this in Algebra 2 if you're not there already. Okay, so the whole thing will drain in 750 minutes. There you go. Nice job, guys. All right, so now, how are we doing? Okay, how are we doing? Put it in the chat. How are we doing? How are we feeling? What's going on? Because it kind of helps me to figure out which one. So Emma does, and it says undefined. Yes, because you're looking at real numbers. Square root of -1 is a complex number, not a real number. Okay, you're doing good, good. Late to class, some lost. That's all right. We're going to catch up. We're going to catch up. Not a problem. Okay, we're not going to leave you behind. All right. So now, I want to step up just a little bit. Okay, just a little bit. Sometimes they like to give you something like this. Okay. No, sir, no. Okay. So this is why I come on here. No, you have what's called real numbers and you have complex numbers. The real numbers are your rational numbers, which includes your counting numbers on your fingers, your whole numbers, your integers, which is your positive and negative numbers, and your rational numbers, which deals with some of the fractions and decimals that actually have an ending. But then your irrational numbers is like pi that continues on forever. The square root of a prime number, like the square root of 2, that is an irrational number. So anything, e is also an irrational number as well. But anything dealing that doesn't cross your x-axis, those are called, as some people like to call it, your imaginary numbers or your complex numbers. So this is telling me that either one of two things, that part was missed when you were learning it early on, or it's been forever since you've heard of it, or if you just got out of school, that was skipped, and I'm scared about that. Okay? All right. So, how are we translating? What is the question here? We're translating the verbiage to an equation. Okay, that's all we're doing for today. So we can get a better understanding of how to set up those word problems. Okay. Okay, you're not finding anything. We're basically setting up the equation. Okay, we're not finding anything. What will be the equation? Yep, thank you, God love. So anytime they say we want the equation of the line, we're using this y equals mx plus b. We're using that slope-intercept form. So you need two things. Okay. So Joy, you just got here. We're going to try to work it out. Okay. All right. Okay, that's okay. All right. So Brenda, some people use C, some people use B. I was always brought up with the B. Okay, no matter what, that's your y-intercept, and M is going to be your slope. Okay. All right. But what's the equation, though? Hazel, what's the equation? Okay, thanks for coming in, guys. Okay, so all you know, okay. So we're going to take it step by step. I got you. All right. And if you don't understand, put a question mark in the chat. Because I definitely would love to get more than 20% participation. Okay? We need to tell TikTok, like, hey, I know, don't just come on here for giggles. All right, thank you, Shades. Appreciate it. Thank you for your honesty. And I know that's hard to say. It's hard to say, you know what, I don't know. Because we all like to figure things out. I know I do. And it gets a little hard. Okay? Hey, Big Al, how are you? Don't worry, I got you. No tears. Okay, God love, I got you as well. Okay? So, let's take a look at this. First off, anytime they say to put this into an equation, we need two things. We need our slope, which is our rise over run, and we need a starting point. So right now, they're basically telling us at hour 3, they traveled 180 miles. At hour 6, they traveled 360 miles. What they're actually giving you is a table. So we're saying your x values and your y values. So they're giving you coordinates. So your x values, your independent is going to be your hours, and your y value is going to be your miles. So at hour 3, you traveled 180 miles. At hour 6, you traveled 360 miles. So what you guys are saying is there is a pattern. The pattern to go from 180 to 360, that means you went up, because it increased, 180. Okay? It's coming to you, I know, right? So that's that part. Now we need to find the pattern of our x's. So going from 3 to 6, you're increasing, and you went up 3. Okay? So now, something's missing, Brittany. Something's missing. Take a look at your thing once more. So now, we have our 180, which is my change of my y's over the change of my x's. So instead of doing y2 minus y1 and x2 minus x1, that's basically what you're doing. You're finding slope what's called numerically. You're looking at it from a table. So the difference of your y's was 180. The difference of your x's is a positive 3. Okay? So now 180 divided by 3 is not going to be 6, but it's going to be 60. So what we're looking at, their constant speed is 60 miles per hour. See? Miles, which is the numerator, per hour, which is the denominator. So that's what your slope. Okay? So now, would the question be presented as what is the miles per hour? This one is asking for the translation. Now for the next part, it could be anything. It could be asking what's their starting amount. It could be asking what is their miles per hour. It could be anything. Okay? We just want to basically get the equation. Get that first. So now, let me slide this over. We know that our m is 60. So 60 miles per hour. That's our slope. But there's one thing that's missing. They didn't give us a starting point. Or did they? Take a look. Did they give us a starting point? Okay. So Brenda's saying no. Okay. Thank you for your courage. Appreciate it. Did they give us a starting point? JB saying no. Okay. So how are we going to put this? And I think, I forgot who said it earlier about direct proportionality. I like to give credit when credit's due. It was up here earlier. I'm going to find it. It was Tim. There we go. T-I-M. Directly proportional. So, if we notice, exactly, smiley face. Okay, M. Quiche. Alright, so they didn't actively tell us, but the pattern was very much consistent. But this is another way that we can figure it out. We can use that equation of the line, that y equals mx plus b. We know we can replace the m with 60. But what we found to make our table are basically ordered pairs. So what we could do is take one of these two ordered pairs, because remember, ordered pair is an x comma y. Okay, so this is 1.3180, and this is another point, 6,360. And I can use one of those 2 points and substitute for the x and the y in this equation so I can find my b. So I'm going to be selfish. I'm going to use the first one. So that means for my y, I'm going to replace with a 180. I still have my 60. But for my x, I'm going to replace it with 3. $60 times 3 gives me what? Okay, 60 times 3 gives me what? There we go. 180, 180, 180, 180, 180. Okay, B stands for your y-intercept, where the line crosses the y-axis. So that means I'm solving this for B. So in order for me to do that, I need to move this 180 over to the other side of the equal sign. Okay. What am I going to do with that 180? All right. 0. Yep. And how would I get the 0? Yes, we're going to minus. There we go. Always do what's called the inverse. So since it was a positive 180, we're not looking at this plus sign because that plus sign is attached to the B, not the 180. The 180 signage is in front and the left of the numbers. If you don't see anything, it's assumed to be positive. So that's why we did the opposite, or the inverse, which is negative. These are going to cancel out to give me 0, but I don't need to put the 0 over here because I have B that's going to come down. So I don't need that 0 as a placeholder. But over here, I'm going to need this 0 as a placeholder. Because anytime you solve for an equation, it has to be evened out. It's almost like someone's trying to lift weights. You can't just lift from your waist up and have two little sticks for legs. Gross. Get a leg day in, okay? Even it out. All right? So we basically have our equation. And our equation is y equals 60x plus 0. But since 0 is a placeholder, we don't necessarily have to put that plus 0. So our equation is y equals 60x. You will see it in this form more so than ever. Okay? The y-intercept is the starting point. Yes. Okay? That's what you want to have engraved in your head. So we are looking at what's called directly proportional. So directly proportional, if I may do a small sketch of a graph, it always goes through the origin. Okay? And basically your slope is consistent each and every time. Either it's going up or it's going down. Okay? So this is algebra. This is considered algebra, like early stages. Okay? So I can't put a grade level to it because I know there's some kids that are taking pre-algebra in 6th grade, and I know a 6th grader that's taking algebra 1 next year. So yeah. Okay? Yep, up 6 over 1. There you go, Brittany. Thank you. All right. Questions so far. So sometimes they'll just give it to you. Okay? I'm going to see if I can expand up a little bit, because I know some people like to take little snapshots. So sometimes they'll just give it to you. They'll just give you what the slope is, and you just have to figure out how you read the slope. Anytime they say something per minute like this, that's your slope, and what you started off with, that's your y-intercept. Okay, same thing happened with the ride share that we did. Okay, flat fee. Flat fee is what you have to pay before you even get into the car. Okay, so you have to pay $350. That's your starting point. That's your y-intercept, aka your b. Okay, and this 175 per mile, that's your slope. Okay, so understanding just that, you're going to be able to get a lot of those formulas. All right, let's see. So do you have to do all these steps in order to be correct? No, Em. The reason why I do all these steps is because there's a lot of people that haven't seen this math in a minute, and I do not want to confuse them. I don't want to add to their math trauma. So that's why I'm doing step by step, okay? I appreciate you asking. That was a really nice way of asking. Most people would be like, why we gotta do all this? So thank you, Em, for your kindness. Okay, you did algebra in 7th and 8th grade, and I think went into geometry. Yep. And trigonometry in 10th. Oh, you had trigonometry separate. Here in Maryland, we have trigonometry inside of geometry. So, yep. Okay. All right. So, let's try 2 more. And then we are basically done for today. So, here we go. Considering my ring light decided to go kaput, and I want to put my overhead light on. So, unless I can do this. Okay, I can do this. Put my phone light. Yeah, no problem. Yep. So your B is your y-intercept, Ozzy, and M is your slope. Not MX, just the M. Okay, just the M. For the T's test? Yes, M. I know. So welcome on in. Alright. So again, we're going to translate this into a... Sorry, we're going to translate this into an equation. The M is your slope. That's your rise over run. So that's how, if you start on the y-intercept, then from that starting point, your slope will tell you where to go if you were to graph it. Okay. There we go. Alright, my blue face. Single. Alright, I see you. Right. So what do we think? If you're a little stuck with this, go ahead and put a question mark. Okay, I don't care if you put 5 question marks already. Then do number 6. Well, we only did 4 problems, but that's okay. Do number 4. Okay, put that question mark in there if that's what you need to do. All right, so we just need to set it up. There we go. Okay. There's a lot of extra stuff in there, Brenda. Ooh, what would Y represent? Okay. All right, Big Al, got you. What would y-intercept represent? So we got our y equals mx plus b. Okay. So we're changing this into an algebraic equation. Okay, so that's what we're doing, Juan. So it's not solving. So this is where it really comes down. And if you think like, man, she's catty. I'm trying not to be catty, but I just don't want you, when you sit down and you take a test, that you're giving way too much additional information and then you're wasting time. Okay? So right now, they're not telling us well, solve for this. What is B? What is that? What's the fee? Blah, blah, blah. We don't know. Okay. People and cost per person. Not people and cost per person. Okay, so your fee is that. B is the setup cost. Okay, so now let's get with it. So we got that catering company. There's a fixed price. So there is a party of 50 guests. Okay, the total bill is $1,250. So they're telling us what the total cost of that party is. Where is that $1,250 going? Okay, where's that $1,250 going? Is it the Y, the M, the X, or the B? There you go, Brenda. Close, Brenda. Close. Okay? It's the Y. The Y. Okay? So it's not my starting amount. They are already telling me the total. So my cost is going to depend on how many people. So if I may, I'm going to tell you that my X is the number of people, or the number of guests, and my Y is going to be the total cost. Okay, so your X is going to represent how many guests, and your Y is going to represent the total cost. Now this one's a little different, because this time they gave us the total price. They gave us our Y. Okay? They gave us how many people. And this last sentence, they gave us the cost per guest. Anytime they use this word per, that's going to be, whatever follows, that will be your slope. So in this time it was cost per guest, miles per hour, something per second. Okay, no matter what, anytime they use that thing per, that's going to be your slope. So that's my M. So what's missing from this one, they said that there is a fixed cost, but did they give it to us? So M is the cost per guest, per person, yes. Okay, but did they give us what is the fixed cost? Yes or no, Y or N? Okay, did they give it to us? Okay, Ozzy's saying no. So the person saying yes. Nana's saying no. Mert saying no. Lake saying no. Okay, need one more person. Alright, thanks so much for coming in, guys. Appreciate it. Okay, and M is saying no. Yes, that's correct. Because they told us there's a setup fee plus a fixed cost per guest. But they didn't tell us what the setup fee was. They told us on 50 party, okay, the total bill is going to be this. They told us the cost is going to be this. So they did not give us our B. So if we need an equation of the line for us to figure out the pattern, or what would the cost be for another, for 100 group, for 150 group, for 25, we would like to know what that pattern is. So what we have here is 20 times 50. Now 2 times 5, that gives me 10. Then we have our 2 zeros. So that's how we get our 1,000. Okay. So now we need to get B by itself. So how do we do it? we need to move this 1,000 over to the other side of the equal sign. Now it's a positive 1,000 because right here I don't see a minus sign. So I'm doing the inverse. So I'm subtracting 1,000 on both sides. Which will give you your 250. So now that's going to be your B. But what does that 250 mean? Okay, what does that 250 mean? I know you guys been typing it all day. But what does it mean? Okay, the base setup price. Yes, that setup fee. Good, the setup fee. That's it. That base setup fee. So before you get anything inside that building, or you put a tablecloth or a plate on a table, you have to pay $250. Okay, just to rent the place. All right, good, Sharon. Cherie, I see you. Good, Oz, I see you. M, see you. My crazy face, I see you. All right, so now my equation, again, we know what our slope is, which was our $20. So my equation for this to do help with future is going to be y equals 20x plus 250. That's my equation that we're going to use to represent future tasks. Okay? I don't do advanced ones here because I'm focused on people that haven't seen math in a while. And for me to do advanced math, I'm just putting and being part of the problem of their math trauma. I'm not going to do it. Okay? Sorry. Alright? But, okay? So, let's try one more, and then we're officially done. Like, for real, for real. Alright? One more, and then we'll try. Okay? Alright, let me see if you guys are... Alright, I'll put it like this. Okay? Find the equation of a line. Yes, Brittany. Sorry, I wasn't ignoring it. Just saw it. So you're starting at 250, yes, and from there you're going to go up to 20 and over 1. Yes. Over to the right one. Okay. So Brenda, don't forget the X. Give it a try. Give it a try. See what you can do first. Because we did 4 examples. See what you can do. Give it a try. It doesn't have to be perfect. This is the time for you to, if you do not know what's going on, is to ask questions, is to follow along, to try things. We don't want to try things during a test. We want to try things during these times, where you actually have somebody that knows what's going on and be able to say, yes, you're on the right track. Ooh, you forgot this. And we can tweak our thinking. That is probably going to be the creme de la creme so you can pass this test. Okay. The train is traveling 200 miles an hour. Oh, don't worry. Landon Neve, it's coming. Not today, but trust me. I got them. Okay, what is my equation? That's a statement, not a question. So Morgan, what is my equation? Translate it from verbiage to algebraic. Because I'm not asking you to solve. That's why it's not going to be a question. Okay. Anytime they ask for an equation of the line, what do you put it in? not standard form. You put it in slope-intercept form. Anytime they ask for equation of the line, it's always going to be a slope-intercept form. Okay, my face is saying y equals negative 3x plus b. Okay. Right. There you go. Now what's my equation, Morgan? Okay. Thanks for the follow, Letty. Okay. What's missing, Morgan? Okay. Well, thanks, Letty. There you go, Morgan. All right. So this is similar to a problem that we did earlier. What was it? Oh yeah, the family driving. It's very similar to the problem that we did earlier. Okay. So let's take it step by step. They're telling us at 2 p.m. the outside temperature is 72 degrees Fahrenheit, which is hilarious because that's what's happening here in Baltimore. By 6 p.m. the temperature has dropped to 60 degrees Fahrenheit. So they're giving you order pairs. And you're like, huh? Yes. Watch. If we do a table, we have our x values, which is going to be the time. Your x values is always your independent variables. Your independent variables is time. Okay? No matter what we do, we could sit here, which will be awkward, not say anything, but what keeps going? It's time. But your y values is going to be your temperatures. I'm going to say temp for short, with a little degree symbol. So at 2 p.m., so I'm just going to write a 2, the outside temperature is 72 degrees Fahrenheit. By 6 p.m., our temperature is 60 degrees Fahrenheit. As we set it up like this, I know, sticky icky, we're basically looking at the pattern. How do we go from 72 to 60? Well, we went down 12. Okay, you see what happened? From 72 to 60, you went down, and how many did you go down? 12. Same thing is happening with the x's. So when you go from 2 to 6, well, from 2 to 6 is definitely increasing. And how much is it increasing? It is increasing by 4. Okay? What we're finding, because we're looking at temperature per time, okay, and these things looks like hours, that means we're going to have our negative 12 over 4. So we're going to have a negative slope, which is reduced to negative 3 over 1, or just negative 3. This is your slope. That's your m. Okay? So we found our m. But they didn't give us a starting point. They didn't say what time they started collecting data or data. They didn't say they started at 12 and it was 0 degrees. They didn't give us any of that. So we don't have a starting point. But what we could do is use one of the 2 points that we have here. This is a point 272. This is a point 6 and 60. And we can plug in to our y equals mx plus b. I know some people are like, couldn't we just use point slope? Yes, we can. But a lot of people have y equals mx plus b memorized more so than point slope. I don't want to add to the trauma. Okay? I know there's multiple ways. I just don't want to add to the trauma. So we know we're going to replace the m with our -3. And I'm going to pick there we go. Okay, so sorry. So now I'm going to pick one of my 2 points. So why not? I'm going to pick the 6 and the 60. So 60 is going to go for the y. 6 is going to go for the x. It doesn't matter which one of those points you pick, you're going to get the same answer. So now, -3 times 6 gives me -18. So in order for me to get b by itself, I need to move that -18. In order for me to move this -18, because remember, this negative sign is associated with the 18. The plus sign is associated with the b. So I have to do the inverse, which is going to be adding 18. So -18 and +18 gives me 0, but I don't need that placeholder. That's why I'm bringing the b down. And then 60 plus 18 gives me 78. Okay. What's between the two are going? Of course. Now, we have our 2 things that we need. We have our slope and we have our y-intercept. So let's put this bad boy together. So it's going to be y equals my slope, which was -3, and my y-intercept, which is a +78, so it would be a +78. Okay. All right. Brenda, take a look at it again. Take a look at it again. Because the 78 is the b. Okay. All right. Okay. How are we feeling? How are we feeling? My goal is to have you feel somewhat comfortable. You don't have to marry math. Don't even have to date it. Just have to be like, all right, we could be in the same room together. Maybe not too long, but just enough for me to get whatever I need to get done. Okay, you with me now? There you go, God love. See? All right. Bird, yes. Good. All right. Comfy, good. Hold on, I missed a couple people. M, good. Good, good, good. Harley girl, how you doing? Right? All right. Cherie, got you. And understand the why. Good. That's the whole thing. Okay? So sometimes when we look at these problems, we try to take in so much information that it's too much. It's absolutely too much. Now, if you want more practice like this, one, give me another night because I'm finishing things up. So not only do I made these not just for the cards themselves. This is what I did last night. I don't know why I still have it with the copyright of that. But I also put down, and these aren't it, but I also made the answers for the equations so you can do like a matching game. So what I'm going to do is expand on this a little bit further. I'm planning on doing tables, just like how we did this. Do some tables and also graphs, as well as what's called task cards, like what's the next step. So that's what I'm planning to do, so that means this whole thing will be done. So not only will you get situation cards, these are not the answers, so just work with me. I was going to give like equation cards, then the graphing, the tables, and the task cards. Does that sound like something that's going to be worthy of your time? Yes, Joy Giver. Yeah, we're just getting to the end of it. Yeah, started at 4. Okay, great idea. Yes, yes, okay. Because it will help you kind of well, first of all, let me see if I can turn this light out. Okay, I can do this. Let me just talk to you like a regular human being. All right, not beautified, but here we are. Hi, how you doing? The reason why I wanted to do linear cards, because that's the area that throws a lot of people off. By seeing more word problems and figuring out, because if you can tell me which equation is going to go to which word problem, and then you can identify the graph to it, that means you're learning it. That means you're connecting to it. So it's better for you to move cards around, because that's another part of your brain that's working, versus giving you a PDF or just giving you any kind of worksheet. So that's why I like to do flashcards. Like I do flashcards with solving and simplifying, evaluating, solving. So I do a lot of those flashcards. I did flashcards with exponents. I do flashcards with, because that was exponents, that was yesterday. So we were working, if I can take it out. So we're working on flashcards with this. So this is the question and this is the answer. So it's kind of like, yes, we can use technology, but here's the thing. A lot of people just don't get it when you do it with the technology. What area of math do I tutor? I go all the way up to college algebra, so I also do pre-calculus. Calculus is not my thing. It could be, but it's just not. So I do trig, I do geometry. So if you do need a tutor, Letty, let me know. Okay. So this is why I do a lot of things with answer keys, but I also, if you want to start from the very beginning, because I forgot who said, is there like all numbers are real numbers? No. Okay, so this is why I developed my Algebra at Your Pace. So I developed a workbook, a whole 10-book series that goes everything from the very beginning, which is the types of numbers that's out here. Okay, all you do is you scan this QR code and it comes up with a video explaining all of these steps. Okay, looking at the different types of numbers and looking at how it's processed. And also, because they always throw one of those questions, is this a rational function? Is this not a rational function? Is this a rational number? Is this an irrational number? Which one is the irrational number? They always throw one of those out there. You might as well get that one right because you've seen it. So also looking at the integers, looking at adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing integers, looking at square roots, looking at fractions. So all of these is just volume 1. But what I do, bring this down for some reason, okay, I always give you some extra practice problems for you guys to work on. So there is like, okay, you're getting the lesson, but you're also getting that reassurance. You're also getting that practice all in one book. And at the end of the book, you're getting a quiz. So with the quiz, you're testing your skills of all the concepts in this volume. And there's going to be some stuff that you're going to forget, right? So some of the stuff that you forget, I have in the very back of the book. So different, looking at integers, looking at decimals and fractions operation, how to solve those. Also looking at your different factors, okay? Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, or Bob Moss if you're international. Okay? If you don't understand your factors, what are your factors? So like if I wanted to look at the factor of, it's kind of blurry, if I wanted to look at the factor of like 168, if you notice, if you go to 168, you see 1 and 168, 2 and 84, 3 and 56, 4 and 42. And what's in red will help you break down square roots. If this was a square root of 168, you know that one radical is going to be 4 and the other radical is going to be 42. So that is going to help you out with all those concepts. So I have all of those. If you want to take a look, all you have to do, let me turn off my flashlight, is if you go to my profile, just click on my face. All right. Once you click on my face, click on it a couple of times, you'll actually see a link that says Stand Store. Okay, so if you see this link that says Stand Store, if you click on that link, it'll take you directly to my Stand Store. So if you stayed here long enough, here's one thing that I think I fixed this. Did I? If you want to look at the replays of all my lives, you can go to my YT channel. Okay? Let me get out of that before TikTok kicks me off. So this is where you can go to find all my replays if you want to take a look at those. If you want, I have a free skills test. So if you want to do that just to see where you are, you can do that. But then I also have a lot of starter kits. I also have individual, and all of these books are ebooks. That means if you purchase it, you will get it directly into your email account, and then you can get started today. If you want physical books, you can go all the way down to the bottom. Oops. Trying to get into my thing. Come on. There we go. Okay, so if you want to, you can get all the way down to the bottom. And there's a section that says physical books. Well, I just went past it. Here you go. So it says physical books. If you want to buy the physical books, you can get them on the A. Now the physical books are $24.99. Whereas the individual books, depending on which book you're looking at, most of them are like $12.99. And you can get them right away. If you like all the foldables, the new ones are not on there yet because I need to make sure that they're done, okay, before I put them out. All right, so go ahead, you have the link, but if you have any questions, please ask me questions before you buy anything, okay? Let's be realistic. Ask before you purchase, okay? I'm not here to rip anybody off. I'm here to share my expertise so you can take the test with confidence, with the guidance that you need, so you can be successful to do whatever their next step is. Maybe it's staying at the same job that you're in, but you're getting paid more money because you got the education. Maybe it's you going into the military and looking at more opportunities because you raised your score high enough. Maybe it's you getting accepted into nursing school and then you're living your best life doing what you need to do for nursing. All right? So if you also need help with doses calculations, make sure you check out a Blessed RN. She is amazing. Oops, got a little crazy with that one. All right, that's her thing. That's all she does. Doses calculations all day, every day. And she puts it in a way that is so simple. It's similar to what we're doing with proportions, but it's really good to have it connected with a person that currently does RN, that does nursing, that you can ask further questions. If you ask me further questions about nursing, that's not going to help you. I'm not going to lie to you. So I'd rather make sure I give you a resource that's going to be really good. If you need help with the algebra, that's me. If you need help with the doses calculations, make sure you see her. All right? Okay. So if you have any questions, please go ahead, hit that profile and send me a message. Okay? Don't just say hi, because that's what a lot of scammers do. Tell me what test you're taking. Tell me how many times you've taken the test, if you have taken it already. What was your score? What are you trying to achieve? When are you planning on taking the test? Anything of that retrospect, that will be perfect. Okay? So I will see you guys tomorrow morning. Yes, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed. I'm not sure about tomorrow afternoon, but we'll see what I can do. But definitely tomorrow morning I will be on. I think about like 9, maybe sooner. All right? Okay. So if you have any questions, just go ahead and message me. All right, everyone. Have a great rest.